a nice segue for uh, uh, the final presentation from Christina Machado, who has always one of the earliest adopters in South Central when we started working there, giving me feedback about how Skies was really moving the needle with these things that administrators care about. And you heard Dave talking about, like, administrators want to see that it's moving the needle with testing. And I hear from teachers all the time, it's so easy for me to really support and monitor my students that I see that progress. And so um, I was really excited when Christina got to find these other opportunities where she became an administrator, and she kept using Skies. There's teachers that do this, they become administrators or coaches in various roles, and they continue to use Skies because they realize it's such a great assessment tool. It's such a great tool for documenting progress. But it's not like one that's like annoying. It's like it turns like formative assessment into like a fun thing. Like, oh, I can just constantly check for my students' understanding and assess where they're at. Um, so I'm excited that uh, she was willing to take time out of her day today to share about ways she's used Skies, including in professional development, because I think that I would love Skies. I want Skies to be successful, and I think what Christina's doing is one way that Skies will be successful and continue. Because when I first started Skies with Julius, I didn't know what I was getting into. I had multiple jobs, all the things that Ami and Carla and Rance are doing. Me and Julius had to do all those things. Now we have a team. We're just focused on Skies, and we have thousands of teachers helping guide the direction. And I want us to keep going forever. And I realize that part of running a business is providing something that's so beneficial, and support that's so great that people are willing to pay for it. And I want to assure everyone that everybody here today that wants to use Skies, I'll give you a scholarship so that you guys will be able to use Skies and do the cool things you've seen from Dave and Griselda. Um, because I want you to know that it really works for you. And when your principal says, "Is this worth it?" You'll say, "Yeah, I think it is," because everyone agrees that we make Skies very affordable, and we want to try to really make this a business. I have kids, and when you're investing in Skies, you're investing in my kids, and I appreciate that I can make this my job. And so I think what some of the things Christina's going to share about using it in PD is really important, because it's the ways we can influence like our school systemically, like our colleagues, our administrators, so they realize the benefit of Skies. Because one thing I did not expect when I got into this business was that teachers and principals move around a lot. And if a new principal comes in and doesn't, really fully understand all these various benefits, Skies can vanish. And which is why, like, we want to be here to support you guys with scholarships if that happens for a year or two. But I think that by sharing some of these cool things that we've heard about, and that we're going to hear about, it's a way that you guys can help Skies grow. So Christina, I'd like to turn it over to you. And yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, James. So just a little quick background about me. I'm actually not an administrator. I have stepped out of the classroom though, as an interventionist, focusing primarily on math in the primary setting. With that though comes a lot of coaching. And so as being part of an ILT team, we were able to start influencing how Skies works in like systematically across the whole school. So the theme pretty much of this presentation, or these, it's not too, I'm not that formal of a person. But anyways, the information I'll be providing you is that element of collaboration across the school. So give me 1 second to pull this up. Y'all, it's been a while since I've been presenting on Zoom, so thanks for your patience. So I'll give you the share code so that you can keep this later. So just really focus on absorbing information right now. I kind of was thinking about this in terms of 3 ways that Skies has transformed our school. And I say this because I was at a previous school for, oh my gosh, like 12, 13 years. And then when I took this new role, I moved to a completely different sub-district and a completely different school. So this was brand new to our school 2 years ago. We're going on our third year with Skies. And so it really has been able to build from the ground up. This is how I use it currently in my intervention class to then collaborate with all of our teachers. Well, I don't like doing the presenting mode because I'm just weird. Sorry, y'all. So in my class, I do have all of the teachers listed separately so that they have access to all of their student information and what their students are doing in real time. So a lot of times as a classroom teacher, I would feel like I have no idea what my kids are doing when they're gone at intervention. And then like, you know, sometimes they miss things when they're gone and I'm trying to like judge that. But then we really focused on like blending the instruction as to what's happening in intervention and what's happening in the classroom. So this is one way that we can do it with ease because they can see what we're doing and then mimic and match it. Particularly with the students that I am instructing, these tools right here, the recording ones, are phenomenal for helping them to be able to articulate what they want to say, specifically with math, because a lot of times it's hard to draw it out, but they can explain it a lot better or vice versa. So it's a lot easier than having them open up a book and say, here, do problem number 1 or whatever. They are able to have the flexibility of things. The way I will run it is I will have all the grades together and then just open up the lesson for the kids, because you have to remember in an intervention setting, most likely this occurs at your all schools too, it's a short period of time. So we've only got about 30 minutes with each group. And so to make it easier on us, we do use the all the Skies QR code. So that's how the kids, that's kind of how we pretty much take attendance, right? So the kids come in, they log in, we use whatever we're going to use, and it always takes them to the same spot, right? Because we also have shared devices, because I'm not going to have first graders coming with their iPads and losing it in transition from walking up the stairs and breaking it, all of that, right? So these are the tools that we're able to just refine and make it move a lot faster. So when I want to pull work down, I just hide it. You can see that this part is hidden from the students, and then I go ahead and break down their past work and get it out of their way. Okay, so this is all, again, viewable to all of the teachers that are involved. So if you had, you know, Dylan was your student, then you have access to Dylan. But the nice thing about it is there's that vertical articulation, so they can also see what's happening in our 3rd grade groups and 4th grade groups. Because we often know that like sometimes the groups, if you're a regular classroom teacher, you may have kids that are higher and need a little bit more challenge. So now you can kind of explore and see, and it just becomes a really great resource for you. Yes. So just a quick sample here. This is how it looks like when I'm looking at my screen. So we can have all the work there. And then like if a teacher comes in, you just change it to the view of your own particular student, and you get to see how they've grown and progressed throughout the time. The beautiful part is the ability to turn these cards on and off whenever you want. So the kids aren't looking at them, but then as a teacher, you know that you can see the progress straight through, which has been really, really helpful. Again, this is just using it as in an individual setting in the classroom, but knowing that I have students from different classrooms and from different grade levels at the same time. So another benefit to that is that if the school is using it school-wide, right, it's a lot easier to say the kids know what they're doing when they log in and they jump in and we are all ready to go. Okay, so again, this is a little bit older representation. So you're like, okay, that sounds pretty similar to what I'm doing in my own class. Excellent, I appreciate that for y'all. Then we start looking at how do we do Skies with like that PLC. So our small group learning. Yeah, I probably should just put this into another mode. I promise I will give you guys all of this too. So we talked about how we can collaborate with our team. So again, I mentioned I am focusing primarily on math. So we do a lot of work with CGI, and I have teachers at different parts of their journey, if you will. And so we are utilizing this course for planning purposes. And so this is a way that I, in my role as an interventionist, can then start targeting tier 1 instruction and supporting that way. It is the quickest way to share resources and lessons like in an instant. I am not a fan of Schoology. I will be the first person to tell you that. And I've taken all the Schoology courses, but it's not as intuitive as Skies is, right? And the fact of the matter is, like, why are we learning one more system when I can use this and it encapsulates everything? So again, I am going to be honest on that fact. So what we've done, we put our lessons here by the week as we plan them together. So this is, you know, it's not every single teacher on campus that does this, but a lot of teachers do, as there's the ones who are invested in, you know, this mathematics journey with them, with their students. So then We plan it together, then they just take the cards, copy it into their course, and then continue teaching on the rest of the week. So this is a sample of what a day might look like in a CGI classroom. Whoops, let's not do that. So we would have, this one is a particular, the number sense reasoning routine. So this is like, what do you notice? What do you wonder? And we would talk in our planning times, and this becomes sort of like, not a key per se, but like we kind of sample it out, right? If some teachers aren't as familiar with the routine, so we're like, I will model this for teachers when we're planning, and then leave them a copy so that they can have, it's like it's like a bite-sized teacher's guide, right? Like you experience this, so now you're able to take it back into the classroom. I don't want to be the person to use that term, if you've ever heard from Ellie Unified of the triple track agenda, but this guys allows you to have a triple track agenda with everything. So if you know, you know, and if you're not, good for you, because it gets obnoxious. But anyways, so then we also did a choral count, and then this choral count can then turn into something the students will annotate, and it's like an instant worksheet for us to then be able to check what they're doing. Lots of times I have them do the word problem first, and then I have them go back and do this, because it just depends on what my priority is. But it is set up in the same style for the teachers and then as well as for the students. And all of our students do engage in problem solving, just one story a day for the most part. And I personally, because I don't have the storage space for math journals, et cetera, I'm just like, take a picture of it, whatever. And Miss Yang, I am envious of you that you have whiteboard tables. Girl, I'm trying to get them on Donors Choose so that I can do that, because I don't have space for all the paper. And so I'm like, take a picture, put it up there, because that's what we're going to do anyway. We're going to look at it that way. So, and it's also been really great, because if I don't have a sample of something in my math lab, which is typically students that are, struggling a little bit more, and they're not going to see the same work from each other, I can easily quickly pull from one of my colleagues, students, and say, oh, look what another fund did. Right. And I know that sounds really, but it is, because it's not you telling them how to do it. It's them looking at someone else's. So again, it's just works a lot better. And then we also have added, because again, we talk about how we're on this journey. So there's like a ton of resources that we've just compiled versus having it in a million Google folders or a million slide decks, right? We ever know we go to PDs and they're like, here's this slide deck and here's your, I'm like, I don't know. We all just boom, boom, boom. It's all there for us now. My absolute favorite way to use it, though, when we're talking about collaboration among PLCs, is that the ability to put this, we've started developing games for small group instruction. And I don't know about you, but sometimes we have, these YouTube videos that are really great, right? Okay, good. Here you go, you guys. Here's a good YouTube video. Here's a template that we use. It's all in one place. You don't have to research. Or I found it. I tried it with my class. It works. Here, colleagues, please use it. Beyond that, and so I'll give you these that are fine because they're not us, but I do have ones with our own students. So like when we play it and we develop something immediately, I'm like, hang on, Jocelyn, let me grab my phone. Let's record how we're playing this game, and will you teach your friends later? We don't let the kids see the videos or keep them, obviously for like security purposes, but teachers can look at it, see how the kids are playing, and then we just like develop the next level. What's the next level? How do we increase this game? And it's really very awesome because it's coming from the kids, and then they have that ownership that they can now take back into their classroom. So it's just, it's really building on so many different elements altogether. So I do apologize. I cannot give you those videos, but I will give you everything that's all like PDF and stuff. And, if you need to see them, let me know. We can talk. So that's kind of how we use it in terms of like using our PLC planning time and collaboration across the grade levels. So then again, just similar to how Skies has the collective, except this is like our own mini collective where we share within ourselves, if that makes sense. Sorry if I'm talking really fast, y'all. This is just my nature. I don't know how to slow down. Oh, here, I'll go back to this. So when I give you the course for you to keep, so you'll have that games one. And if you, so you can see that everything is linked, and anything that you need, you can have, it's fine. Because this is all just kind of open source stuff. Even things like PDFs that we find that we use in our classroom, like we just drop them all here, with iReady, and then like learning goals, all of that. Like we all have all these resources. And again, if you are a fan of GPT, it all gets dumped into one folder and then you never find it again. At least this way, I have a thumbnail that's easy for me to check out. So again, all of these will be available. The last element is when we're looking at using it as a school-wide, I'm actually going to step out of this into our actual course because you'll see more of it. But so anyways, we use Skies for school-wide documentation. So all those trainings that are being assigned to you on bloodborne pathogens. I'm sorry, I'm speaking specifically to LAUSD people. All of those PLN certificates that you have to turn in, we like my office manager doesn't have time to do that. So teachers just screenshot it, upload it to Skies. We haven't even started school officially, and I just think it's hilarious because we've put it here already for 24-25, and we already have teachers submitting it. Like they didn't, it's just second nature to them, just as like, oh, I already finished it, I'm gonna upload it. And I'm like, that's so beautiful. And so again, this is just how we do it. So now you as a teacher are experiencing Skies from the perspective of a student. So it is very different, but it gives you the practice to see what the experience is like for them. And I find that my upper grade staff or colleagues, I don't like to call them staff because we work together. My upper grade colleagues will use their laptops just like their students will. And sometimes they will use, they'll bring in a Chromebook just so they make sure that they can troubleshoot. And then we see our younger students, they're all coming in with iPads and trying to make sure that they know how to use it too. So it gives you that experience. And that's what I was talking about, like that triple track agenda. Like we practice things so that you'll feel comfortable to be able to then use it with your students. Okay, so this is one thing, just documentation, compliance, those sort of things. Then go back to where I was here. It is definitely easily accessed by everybody in an instant. I know sometimes if we're like trying to find things and it's like, we need this link, we need that link. Oh, let me email it out to you. I'm like, no, let me just drop it in Skies and you'll have it right then and there. Sometimes we have lots of things in the course. So if we're like, where in the course is it? I'm just like, here's the code, go. Right? Like it's very easy. And then everybody can get back on track and be at the same place we all are at very quickly. We also use our lesson codes as reference in our weekly bulletin. So let's say we had a PD and we're like, hey, don't forget your deliverable is due Friday. It can be found at blank code, right? Or, oh, so-and-so created this lesson for Red Ribbon Week. Go ahead and here's the share code, add it to your course if you'd like. And so it's an ongoing use of, like, you don't have to go search for it, but we're gonna make it available to you in case you don't know where to find it. And then I have teachers, like I mentioned, who are already exploring the course as we go. It is really specific to each school, so I have put my contact information there. If you are interested, or if I don't know how many people are admin here, or if you have on an ILT team, you can let me know. And I know James and I work really closely about this. I would rather you sit with me in a one-on-one and we build it out the way you want, right? Because I can give you samples, that's fine, but like really it needs to take that time of like, what would you like done? And that's what we did. So that's what I've worked with my principal of, like how we wanted to make it work. Another thing, if especially this happens with PDs where PDs are like, you need this and you need this digital resource and da-da-da. So for summer PDs, y'all, it's already here. So I am delivering the summer PD starting Monday. And so it's all here for ELA and math. And like, it's so much easier than what the district has provided with, like, what are they calling it? A digital notebook. And it's located in Google Slides. And it's like, one wrong click and you're lost. So I was like, nope, you need this link, you need this link, you need this. So we're ready and we're excited about that. And again, this is not anything I did, so I'm glad you guys can have that with, I'll give it to you. And another thing, so we are a CLR, culturally relevant, all of that. So we are an AMP school, if you're familiar. So we do things like book of the month, and then we put them all together. And this just becomes somebody else's job, right? It's not a teacher's job, because teachers, we know everybody in the classroom has a million things going on. So we will put things like, here's the read aloud, here are some resources. Basically, we shift through all the stuff that we find online like that. And it helps you as a teacher to plan, because you're like, oh, I need to do the book of the month, but instead of it being one more thing I have to do, I'm going to go ahead and just already look at some resources that have been pre-sorted. And then we put them for all grade levels. And so this becomes just like what our committees do, right? So like you have the CLR committee and their job is to take care of book of the month. It's here. When the code is ready, they distribute it via our weekly bulletin, and people just take them and use them, whatever works for your grade level. So it's nice because it also then continues to build that school community that we've all read the same book. We've all done that. Lots of times we don't get the book in time. So we have screenshots of it, and it's just beautiful because right here now it looks like I'm flipping through an ebook, just going through that way. So I know we probably shouldn't say that I'm screenshotting copywritten things, but it's okay. That wasn't me that did that. But anyways, but you get the idea. Like, this is what's happening all around all of us. And then I think that's where I was going to go with that. So yeah, again, any type of resources that we have made significant gains in math across the district that apparently Carvalho's supposed to come to our PD on Tuesday. No pressure. But so you'll see lots of math stuff right now because our scores went up really a significant gain. And so if it helped us, it might help you. You might as well take them. Yeah, that's kind of all I was going to jump in with. Like I do better with ask me questions, y'all, and I'll answer. But this is the madness that I've created at our school. But it all makes sense to us, and we are totally making it work out, and it's just been so much fun.
Thank you
So
so much, Christina. That's
yeah,
totally awesome.